The U.S. Treasury Secretary has announced that trade talks with South Korea will begin next week, stressing that countries who come to the table early with the U.S. are more likely to strike favorable deals.
미국 재무부 장관이 내주 한국과 무역 협상을 예고하면서 미국과 먼저 협상하는 국가가 더 유리한 합의를 할 수 있다고 강조했습니다. Okay, I like that. Korea has become a bit of a priority, kind of a top country for trade talks.
Yes.
That's a good sign, I feel.
Yes, it is indeed. Of course, South Korea does a lot of trade with the United States. So we're in a group of countries that the U.S. is trying to make negotiations with first.
Okay, so what are some of those other countries?
So along with South Korea is the UK, Australia, India, and Japan have been named as top priority to get these tariff negotiations figured out.
And so they said basically kind of like the sooner you come and talk with us, the better it'll be, like first come, first serve.
Yeah, there's kind of a first mover advantage, so to speak.
Yes.
먼저 움직이는 사람의 이점이라고 하죠. First mover advantage. So it's trying to get countries to come before the U.S. even asks.
Okay.
Right?
All right. So I guess what they want to see is that willingness and interest
Yes.
in wanting to negotiate.
They don't want people to be reluctant.
Yeah, they want the right attitude.
They want, yeah. However, not all countries are indeed showing that attitude.
Okay, so let's, of course, talk about China. That is still going strong. It's very heated.
Yes,
It's
it is.
not backing down.
It is not. It is escalating. In fact, China said that they're going to stop exporting 7 types of rare earths to the U.S. So rare earths, of course, is hitoryu. And these are things used in semiconductors, other high-end equipment. And this is a big deal because China makes a lot of these rare earth materials.
Right.
Of course, they're mining it from the ground, but it's something like 전 세계의 생산량의 90% 이상을 차지한대요.
Yeah, it's major.
They hold about 90% of the production of these rare earth materials.
Right. So it seems that it's not now. China's like, okay, tariffs is one thing, but hey, we're going to stop giving you these materials.
Yes. So we'll have to see if the U.S. will back down, fight back, or maybe find another source for these materials that they need.
Yeah.
But while it is looking maybe better here in South Korea, the South Korean-U.S. Trade agreements,
Not
the
so much.
U.S.-China trade agreements do not look to be getting better.
No, not at all, not at all. So, of course, they're saying, U.S. is saying, you know, if you come to the table, people who come to the table early to talk about negotiation, it will be more favorable.
Yes.
And I like this expression, come to the table. So, 뭐, you know, just come to the table, 그냥 뭐 테이블에 와요.
밥이 됐어요. 뭐
네,
테이블로 와.
식사하세요.
식사하자.
Actually, yes, right? But we're thinking of the meeting table.
Yes.
Right?
So there is
Okay.
the actual coming to a table for work or for eating. But here, the expression come to the table, we're talking about the negotiation table.
Yes.
The negotiating table. So it's showing a willingness to find an agreement with someone.
And I like that point, what you just made. Show a willingness. So it's not just the negotiating table or the meeting table, but it is kind of initiating the effort, making the effort to come to the table.
Yeah, there is no conclusion. Like there is no finalization of this negotiation.
Yes.
But it's saying you're starting this negotiation.
네, 협상에 나서다. I think that's 나서다 is the key point here. Okay, so we shall see how that works out next week. Let me read that again. The U.S. Treasury Secretary has announced that trade talks with South Korea will begin next week, stressing that countries who come to the table early with the U.S. are more likely to strike favorable deals.